Are you coming to Bonaire to shore dive? Do you plan on diving the Salt Pier? Would you like some tips, tricks, and other information to make your experience easier and more enjoyable?
Well, that's what we're talking about in this video.
And we're doing it right now. Hey folks, we're at the Salt Pier.
Don't you mean like, hey, we're at the Salt Pier?
No, I don't, yeah. I'm not a fan of the Salt Pier. I'm just not. There, I said it. I know the comments are blowing up right now by all the Salt Pier lovers, but...
Including me.
Including Liz, she absolutely loves the site, but I'm not a fan. But anyway, we're still gonna tell you everything you need to know to have a successful dive here. But first, if you're new to our channel, my wife Liz and I, we love to travel, especially to sunny tropical locations where we can scuba dive. We've got a particular passion for the island of Bonaire and the freedom the shore diving here allows. This is another in our series of videos about the different shore dive sites here on Bonaire. In our videos, we tell you everything you need to know about the site. We're going to show you the best place to enter the water, best place to exit. We'll give you some navigational tips, give you the lay of the land outside the water, as well as a bunch of other fun information. If that sounds like something you're interested in, we'd love to have you join our community, so please subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we have new content for you to enjoy. But like I said, right now it's all about the Salt Pier. You can probably see the Salt Mountains behind us. It's a really beautiful area of the island. So I'm going to tell you kind of why it's not my favorite site, but then I'll do an about face and tell you why you absolutely must dive this dive site. First off, I like pretty stuff. I like pretty coral, I like pretty reef, I like pretty blue water. That's why I married Liz. I like pretty Liz. And the Salt Pier, it's man-made. The reef outside of the Salt Pier is kind of busted up. There's a lot of debris there. It's just not pretty. And it's just not my favorite site. The entry is a pain in the rear end, if you ask me. We're going to tell you all about that, by the way, here in a little bit. But once again, it's just not my favorite dive site. However, if there is something as far as marine life that you want to see, you're going to find it here. So here's why you absolutely must dive the Salt Pier at least once, then make your own decision about it. The Salt Pier is packed with marine life. You name the fish, you're probably going to find it here. You're going to find octopus, you're going to find, if you're lucky, frogfish, seahorses, eels. You name the eel, you'll find it here. Tons and tons of schooling fish. There's, once again, the marine life at the Salt Pier is so dense you have to dive it. The Salt Piers themselves are encrusted with pretty coral. It really is worth diving. Don't let my comments turn you off the Salt Pier. You have to try it, but I know Liz loves this site. We'll let her tell you a little bit about why.
I love it because while Kevin likes pretty things, I like creepy, eerie things.
Case in point.
So the Salt Pier is super creepy. All the different pylons that are coming in makes it a little bit darker. You've got a good contrast in colors. It's great for photography. And you're gonna see some weird stuff that you would not see anywhere else. There are some, as Kevin mentioned, you could see a frogfish. There are octopus under there. You'll see eels of every shape, size, and color. And then you're just gonna see weird stuff that you don't see anywhere else.
Like snorkelers and Speedos.
Also that. But the diving itself is really cool. You can get different lighting if you're into photography. You can get all the different pylons with divers swimming through. There's a ton of fish everywhere. And it's just a really great dive site.
That's Liz's opinion. It is a beautiful dive site. You really must come dive this site. You will enjoy it, and then decide for yourself whether you'll have a redo when you come back on your next trip, because you will come back to Bonaire, I promise you. So let's take a look at everything above ground, and then we'll show you the best place and how to enter the dive site here at Salt Pier. Okay folks, here we are at Salt Pier above ground, and this is the easiest dive site on the island to find. If you can't find Salt Pier, you should probably stick to boat diving. You've looked for the big salt mountains on the southern road that also has the big pier dock thingy attached to it, and you know you found Salt Pier. But in all seriousness folks, plenty of place to park. Nice big parking area, You can park on either side of the Salt Pier. Most folks park here on the northern end. You can park on the southern end. I've dived from both areas. But let's go take a look at this entry. And what you're going to find is very rocky shore. So here you'll see this rocky shoreline. Lots of loose coral to fall and slide under your feet. Then you've got very uneven rocky coral here right before the water. This is where Liz and I typically enter. You can enter really anywhere along this side. You can see further in the distance another nice low area. It's all pretty much the same. But here's what you watch out for. In addition to the shifting rocks, the uneven, hard, rocky coast here, substrate area, once you get into the water, that ground is as uneven as you can imagine it can be. There are rocks there, it's uneven. You absolutely need your walking stick. You'll have to walk out further to get to deeper water where you can put your fins on. So the time spent with ankle twisting holes, with different levels that rise and fall with those, that kind of substrate area out there, let me tell you, you need the walking stick. It is not as easy as it looks. This entry is not. But just take your time. Use the walking stick, feel your way, and I promise you, you'll be just fine. And you'll be glad you dove this site at least once. As far as navigating the site, it couldn't be easier. The way Liz and I dive it, we swim out to this pier type thingy area here that's set in from the main dock and piers. We descend at that location, then we swim underwater to the furthest pier out, then we dive south under the entire length of the pier. Depending on your air consumption, you might make it there and back in one dive, or you may want to turn around in the middle, but we swim all the way down, and or at least turn around halfway depending on air, and come back to where we started. We take a good compass heading, of course, before we descend, and then we swim that all the way back here. Do swim submerged back to the shoreline. The shallows here are kind of cool. Not uncommon to see turtles here. Oddly enough, there's not a lot of grass or gorgonians, but I typically see turtles here. There are some nice coral formations in the shallows, so absolutely worth your time to stay underwater on your swim back, so save some air for that. Other folks like to swim up the middle here, or kind of keep that on either side of them, and then either go north or south once they reach the main pier dock there. But I'll leave that up to you. But right now, let's go find Liz and she'll show us how to get in the water. Okay, here comes Liz. She's gonna show us how to get in here at Salt Pier. She's gonna somewhat walk at an angle, a little bit of sidestep action. But I beg of you, like I beg of Liz, take this slow. It's very uneven. She's approaching the area where there's a little ledge that you have to step down. It's not a big step down, but there is a step down. That's why this walking stick is so important. You can brace yourself. As soon as she steps down, she's stepping into rocks. See, very uneven. She'll continue to walk out because she's still in peril of falling. It's very uneven here. And this will be a little bit longer entry video than you're used to with us, because this does take time. You just have to feel your way out. And you're going to see how she's stepping up. We're about to step up. She's going to turn around. I don't blame her. But it does come up in elevation again. So she's going to come on out. And what's another thing adding to this is when the waves are crashing like this, it's hard to see the rocks, kind of where Liz is. But just take your time, use that walking stick. Pick your way back on the shore and you'll do just fine. And don't forget, once you make it here, you're not done yet, folks. You really do have to pay attention the entire way out. Those rocks can be slippery and slick. You still have some holes to get through, and then you still have all these shifting rocks to walk up back to your vehicle. But Liz is a pro at this, and that's how you do it, folks. Just like that. Well, hey folks, that's just about going to do it here for Salt Pier. I think Liz did a great job showing you the best place to enter and exit. Did you like the video? Was it helpful? If so, let us know in the comments. Give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. What other information do you need to know about Salt Pier? And we can update the video for you. Once again, thanks for watching. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to gear up, get in, and then we'll see you at the next dive site.